It's finally time to go back to Rokkenjima and see what the hell is going on with this new game. I think that Kinzo is a furniture in disguise. Someone is taking Kinzo's place and just messing things up, I guess. It's already approaching 10 at night. Oh. By now, the typhoon had wrapped itself around Rokkenjima. Even the rose garden, that had looked so beautiful midday, was beaten down by the fierce winds, and resisted with all its might, undulating, and tried to keep the flowers from blowing away. That rose garden was Shannon, in the lead, Battler holding up an umbrella, Jessica and George carrying the sleeping Maria on his back, all heading for the guest house.
ゲストハウスくらい俺たちだけでも行けるってのにいいんだぜシャノンちゃん戻って休んでてくれよ
You already know.
お送りするのも仕事ですので
親族会議中はうちのお母さんとか源氏さんもピリピリしてるからな下手に私たちが気を利かせるとシャノンがサボってると勘違いされちゃう
I'm keeping my eyes on Shannon.
素直にお世話になった方がむしろ迷惑をかけないだろうねありがとうシャノン
いいえ確かにお嬢様のおっしゃられます通り今日のお屋敷はピリピリしていますだから私も皆さんとご一緒して外の空気が吸えるのでちょっと肩が楽です
親族会議かわざわざ俺たち子供を追い出すくらいだから相当タチの悪い話をするんだろうぜ
だろうね僕たちはきっと何の力にもなれないせめて邪魔をしないようにするのが一番の協力だと思うよ
どうせまた金って話だろうぜ普段散々金持ちだと吹聴してるくせにいざとなったらもったいぶりやがるパーッと気前よくみんなで山分けすりゃいいのによ
そりゃ豪快な話だぜ俺にも分け前がもらえりゃいいのによもし俺にももらえたらそん時はシャノンちゃんにも分けてやるからな
どうもありがとうございますお気持ちだけで嬉しいです
シャノンは欲がないね年頃の女の子なら買いたいものがいっぱいあるだろうに
そうですね
Now all I can see
でも私欲しいものの中にお金で買えるものがありませんので
Now all I can see
ひゅー無欲だな俺なんか欲しいもん全部並べたら金がいくらあっても足りねえぜ
お金で買えるものにはだぜシャノンの言う金で買えない欲しいものって何かなジョージ兄さんは心当たりある
さあなんだろうねシャノンじゃないとわからないね
私にもわかりません
George and Shannon looked down, their faces red. Butler had also heard about what was going on with them, so he knew Jessica was teasing them. Well, what Jessica was teasing them about.
ジョージの兄貴は俺にとっても尊敬できるお人だシャノンちゃんは本当にいい人と巡り会えたと思うぜ
だな私もジョージ兄さんなら安心してシャノンを任せられるぜ
からかうのはよしてくれよ僕たちにとっては真面目な問題なんだ
All I can see is Shannon being,
それよりジェシカちゃんの方だってどうなんだいカノン君と少しは仲良くなれたのかい
Ooh, good.
お前カノン君とそういう仲なのかよ
Where's Cannon?
汚いぜジョージ兄さんそういう話の切り返し方は汚いぜ
Guess he's in the guest house or not? As they had an animated discussion with ups and downs, 4 kids headed for the guest house. The annual family conference was extremely important to the Ushimiya family. This year seemed like it was going to be especially important. Apparently the family head, Kinzo, was personally going to be making a very serious announcement. and everyone other than the adults had been strictly ordered to leave. Butler hadn't attended the family conference in 6 years, so he didn't really notice. But according to Jessica, there seemed to be a very tense atmosphere tonight. Completely different from a normal year. Common sense made it clear that Kinzo, whose remaining life was short, was going to make some big announcement about the succession of the headship and the distribution of his fortune.
しかし驚いたな。まさか本当にじい様が登場するとは。
And I think that's a piece from Beatrice.
なるほど。これが魔女の反撃というわけね。
金蔵というジョーカーはもう少し伏せていたかったところだが、そろそろ切るのが頃合いである。
She wants to take the theory that Kinzo is dead out of the window.
切り札は切るためにある。
くそ、じい様は最初から死んでて、その代わりに謎の18人目が紛れ込んでるっていう俺の推理はここに来ていきなりバッサリってわけか。
いつかはそなたが金蔵を疑いに来ることは読めておったわ。さあさあ、これでそなたの推理は再びゼロに戻ったぞ。金蔵は最初から死んでいて、その代わりにわらわが18人目として紛れ込んでいたという推理はこれでパーだ。
I mean, Battler didn't see Kinzo yet, so it's still a lie.
だがくじけねえぞ。一つの推理が外れただけだ。
No, that's not a theory gone. You still haven't seen him directly, so any mentions of him are just noise.
嵐のように、暴風のように襲いかかってやる。
そうでなくてはな、そうでなくてはな。まだまだ第一の晩祭始まっていないぞ。屈服にはあまりに早すぎる。
そうね。そして赤き真実で否定されたわけでもない。今この瞬間の時点でまだバトラの説は破られたわけではない。
Oh yeah, that's...
勝ったつもりになるのも早すぎるわよ。
そうだな。確かにあっさり鵜呑みにするにはまだ早いな。じい様がいよいよ登場する。やっぱり体調が悪くなった云々言って現れない可能性だってある。じい様は本当は死んでいるという事実をクラウスおじさんがギリギリまで苦し紛れで引き延ばしているだけかもしれない。
なるほどなるほど、そういう考え方もあるか。好きにするがよい。すぐに決着する。すぐにな。
She's just throwing a piece in, but still, I mean, the idea that Kinzo is already dead is kind of, I don't know how to feel about that one. All the relatives and Ange could be seen in the dining hall. Ange sat alone, quietly watching the wind and rain outside. Cross sat down in the seat of his own rank, with Nazi standing motionlessly at his side. The other siblings were gathered at the opposite end of the long table, whispering to each other. If Kinzo is already dead, then that casts doubt on who the fuck made the epitaph. Because it was made 2 years ago, I think.
そりゃ本当か。
ええ、マリアは傘をくれた人物をお父様だというのよ。
Oh man.
なんちゅうことや。ということはつまりわしらの作戦は根底から崩れたっちゅうわけか。
作戦も何もお父様が健在で自ら発表があると言った以上、もう兄さんとのくだらない駆け引きは一切不要だわ。
だな。クソ親父め、もったいぶらずにとっとと現れてくれりゃよかったんだ。おかげで俺たちは兄貴と無駄に揉めただけだ。
それを試したかったのかもね。血のつながってない私が言うのもなんだけど、あなたたちのお父様かなり頭はいいわよ。日中のやりとりは多分使用人の誰かに聞かれてお父様に報告されてたのよ。なんてこと。お父様の遺産が目当てで騒いでることはもうバレバレってことじゃない。ああ、 なんてことよ。
If uncharacteristically, oh my god, held her head dejected. If, as Curious had said, everything had been going according to Kinzo's plan from the very beginning, and if this was a huge setup that had been kept up for over a year, trying to find the siblings' true intentions, then they had fallen for it completely.
お父さんの耳に入ったとまだ決まったわけやない。
いいえ、入ってるに決まってるわ。兄さん以外の全員がお父様は死んでいると言い切り、お父様の健在を信じなかった。ああ、もう終わりだわ。お父様は宣言するのよ。兄さんこそが跡継ぎで、私たちには片翼を身にまとう資格もないと宣告するのよ。ああ、私は。
姉さん、しっかり。
ローザさん、マリアちゃんは本当にお父様に傘をもらったのかしら。
え、どういう意味？
マリアちゃんはお父様に会ったかもしれない。でも私たちは会ってないわ。マリアちゃんがそうだと主張しているだけよ。
そんな、マリアが嘘をついているというの？
落ち着けよローザ。マリアちゃんが嘘をつくとは言ってねえ。だがマリアちゃんは素直な子だろ。例えばだが、源氏さんあたりがこの傘はおじい様からマリア様に渡すように言われましたみたいなことを言ったら、マリアちゃんは親父に会ったわけでなくてもおじい様に傘をもらったって言うかもしれねえぜ。
そうね、その手が考えられるわ。
だがな、マリアちゃんはこう言ったんやろ。おじい様がやってきて傘を渡してくれたと。
ええ、そう言ったわ。おじい様から直接受け取ったとはっきり言ったわ。
直接か、お手上げだな。
下手な考え、休むに似たりとはよく言ったものだわ。ちょっと考えてみたら、傘がどうこうなんてどうでもいい問題だわ。どうしてよ。マリアちゃんが兄さんに買収されて、あたかもお父様が健在であるかのように嘘を頼まれたかもしれないでしょ。傘が確かにお父様から渡されたなんて証拠どこにもありはしない。マリアちゃんが誰から傘をもらっていようとも、あるいは傘なんかそもそももらっていなかったとしても、お父様はもうじき現れる。現れたお父様の前に傘の問題なんて全くどうでもいいこと。つまり傘の問題が取り沙汰されるのはそうでない場合ということよ。
そうでない場合ってのは何のことだ。
そうか、キリエさんが言いたいのはこういうことやろ。
They need to prepare their arguments when father appears.
お父さんもうすぐ出会ってくることになっとるが、また難癖をつけて結局現れん可能性がまだ残ってるっちゅうことやろ。
そうか、そうよね。私たちの追求に兄さんが苦し紛れの時間稼ぎでお父様が現れると出任せを言ったのかもしれない。やっぱりお父様はすでに亡くなっていて、兄さんは今なおまだ健在であると嘘をつき続けている。つまりお父様が現れれば全ての策は通用しない。考える必要もない。私たちは訴状の運を天に任せてお父様との直接交渉に臨むしかないわ。それこそ土下座とげんこつを覚悟してお金を無心するしかない。でも逆にお父様が現れなければ私たちの当初の作戦は何も揺るがない。
なるほど。つまりどっちに転ぼうとも今さらあたふたする必要は何もないってことね。
そういうこと。お父様が現れれば本来の親族会議が行われるだけの話。現れなければ私たちは引き続きクラウス兄さんを追求すればいいだけの話なのよ。
お父さんの機嫌が急に悪くなってみたいなクラウスさんの言い逃れを決して許さんようにせんとな。
どうやら私たちが本当に検討すべきは、兄さんがどんな策を弄してこの場をごまかそうとしてくるかよ。往生際の悪さは私が一番よく知っているわ。
お父様がお元気なら私たちは土下座してお金を無心し、クラウス兄さんの茶番だったなら
私たちは醜い兄弟喧嘩を再開し、
今年も素敵な親族会議になりそうね。
だな。下手な考え休むに似たりってわけか。もうじき22時だな。兄貴に催促してみるか。
Rudolph and the rest looked across. He was sitting down firmly. It looked like he was awaiting Kinzo's arrival with an air of composure. They couldn't tell if he was really composed or if he was scheming how to tie together his lie.
あなた、
落ち着きなさい。もう今さらジタバタしても始まらん。源氏さんに任せよう。
もうじき10時ですね。
That was the time that had been set for tonight's family conference to open. It was the time that Ushurmiya family had needed to appear. Right then, they heard the sounds of footsteps approaching from the hall. There were multiple sets. Natsuki raised her head, relieved. But because of the sound of a knock, her expression was filled with disappointment. Because Kinzo probably wouldn't have knocked.
失礼いたします。戸締まりの見回りが終わりました。
It was Goda and Kumasawa. Like the powerful Goda, it was her for Kumasawa, with her old body, to be forced to work this late. Of course, Cross also seemed to know that.
ご苦労だった。こんな時間まで申し訳ないね。
いいえ。こう見えてもまだまだ夜更かしは得意でございますので。
熊沢についてだけは立ち会いを外させても良いのでは。さすがに体に応えるでしょう。
使用人も全員揃えろとの命令だ。逆らえん。
Tonight's family conference was clearly different from normal. In a normal year, no one was allowed to attend except family members. To have the servants present for such a thing was unthinkable. But this year was different. All of the servants were told to attend. Of course, they were not allowed to talk. They were there as observers. Just what in the world was happening that needed to be observed by 5 servants? Even Cross didn't know.
徹夜はこう見えても強いんですよ。旦那様もサバをもりもり食べれば夜ももっとたくましくなれますよ。
なるほど。まだまだお元気でおられる。100歳になっても元気でお勤めに違いない。
奥様、勝手ながら軽食の準備をさせていただきました。いつでも配膳できますので、ご指示を頂戴できればと思います。
ありがとう。やはりあなたは気が利きますね。他の皆さんにコーヒーのおかわりを勧めてください。
かしこまりました。
After nodding, Goda took the pot towards the relatives gathered at the other end of the table. As he did, more footsteps approached from the hallway. It was a single set, and it was light. Even before the knock, they could imagine who it was.
失礼いたします。お子様方をゲストハウスへお送りいたしました。
ご苦労でした。今夜は特別な晩です。緊張感を欠かさないように。
Oh God! Now seeing Shannon's face, I'm very afraid.
はい、かしこまりました、奥様。
Like her happy face now feels weird to me. Genji had gone with Cannon to meet Kinzo. There was still no signs of their return. The hand of the clock passed 10 slightly. Was sure of that, Ava spoke to Cross.
兄さん、もう時間だけれども、親族会議まだ始まらないのかしら？
主賓の到着が遅れている。しばらく待ちたまえ。
いつまで？悪いけど時間を切ってもらうわよ。お父様がなかなか来ないなんてのを延々と続けて夜明けまで待たされたらたまらないわ。
親父殿のお越しになる時間を私が約束などできるものか。何を焦っているのだね。まずはコーヒーでも飲んで落ち着かんかね。
兄貴、 俺たちは親族会議のために集まってるんだ。茶番じゃない。あと30分は待つ。だがそれでダメなら書斎に押しかけさせてもらうぜ。
押しかけるとは物騒な。当主様への敬いにあまりにも欠ける行為です。
そうよね。ごめんなさい。あと30分はおとなしくしてるわ。
It's gonna blow in their faces, I think.
30分後にも同じ笑いが浮かべられるか楽しみだわ。
親父殿が死んでいると本気で信じているのかね。
それを今さら議論する気はないわ。お父様がここにやってくればいいだけの話。兄さんを言いまかす必要なんて何もないもの。
後ろ宮家当主は正当なる人間へ正当なる手続きをもって継承される。お前が何の策を弄したところで何も抗えんよ。もちろん私もな。
何をわけのわかんないことを。今まで散々自分こそが次期当主だと威張ってきたくせに。
お前の言葉をそのまま返そう。それを今さら議論する気はないね。親父殿がやってきて自らの口でそれを宣言すればいいだけの話だ。お前を言いまかす必要などどこにもない。だったかな。
Let me just say something. I think that Cross's voice actor is underappreciated. Cross casually turned Ava's words back on her. Of course, that added oil to Ava's anger, but it didn't ignite. Because in that instant, the sound of a very loud knock rang out. That's Genji. Both Genji and Kanon were usually very reserved when they knocked. They wouldn't hit the door with such violent strength. It was like a judge's gavel slamming down in a call for silence. So everyone went quiet. Door opened slightly and Genji showed himself. Then he spoke with a serious tone, different from his usual tone. It wasn't the tone he used when carrying out his duties. It was the tone he used when speaking for Kinzo himself. So just by hearing Genji speak like that, the siblings were struck with a sudden tension.
皆様、ご着席を。
With those words, the dining hall was wrapped in total silence, and everyone hurriedly returned to their designated seats. It was as though students who had been bustling around just before homeroom had suddenly returned to their seats when the teacher came. It might even have looked humorous, but there was no way anyone could joke about it. Everyone sat in order, and Shannon and Goda and Kumasawa stood up straight in a row by the wall.
栄光ある後宮家の当主にして金色に輝ける六軒島の領主後宮金蔵卿のおなりであります。
Of the double doors that led to the dining hall, Genji opened the right door from the inside, and Kanon opened the left door from the outside. Oh, scorpion guts, and welcomed by a respectful bow from those two. Majestically fluttering his cape, Kinzo had appeared. Kinzo's gait had a dignified weight to it. It was hard to believe that he had reportedly been at the end of his life. Genji pulled back Kinzo's seat and motioned him to sit. But Kinzo stayed standing, signaling with his chin for Genji to move back. Oh my god.
ようこそ諸君、六軒島へ。何を怯えた顔をしておるのか、エヴァ。
Oh.
いえ、そんな怯えてるなんて。お父様が大変お元気そうなのでほっとしただけで。
おお エヴァ、お前は相変わらず面白いな。クラウスとの賭けに負けて悔しいと素直に言えばよいのに言えないよな。
Oh my god. Okay. Eva realized that the conversation during the day had indeed been leaked to Kinzo as she hung her head, turning red. Okay, this is pretty entertaining.
さてと、我が息子たち娘たち、そしてその伴侶の諸君、お前たちの就寝している我が財産と当主の継承について、今宵は重要な発表をしようと思う。まず最初に、私はひどく失望していることを伝えようと思う。それは今日まで誰にもあの碑文の謎を解くことができなかったということだ。
I think this is a lie. I think somebody already solved it. And I think it was Shannon who solved it. Even though Kinzo said he was disappointed, a condescending smile rose to his face as though there was no way the likes of these could have solved it, and his gaze passed through all of them.
私はあれを解けた者に全てを譲り渡すつもりでいた。しかし今日までに誰も解くことができず、我が全ては誰にも継承されることなくここに至っているわけだ。情けない。
Oh my god, this face.
お前たちの中にそれを受け継ぐ資格を持つ人間が現れなかったことが、私は心底残念であり、そして情けなくざまあないと思っている。
Kinzo's voice actor is also very good. Man, doing his voice is just kills the throat. The siblings hung their heads in silence. Of course, they would have solved it if they could. True, they couldn't deny that he wasted a golden opportunity. It was just too hard. It was just so hard.
よって、私は碑文の謎にて、我が継承者を選ぶことを、ここに中止することを宣言する。つまりはタイムオーバー。ゲームオーバーというわけだ。残念だったな、お前たち。お前たちには等しく公平にチャンスがあったはずなのに、それが今ここについえた。
It truly sounded like Kinzo was making a victory proclamation.
ならば、当主は長男のクラウスに継承されるのか？答えはノーである。
Oh my god. Oh, get fucked. Get fucked.
分かっているよな、クラウス。お前には確かに次期当主という肩書きを与えた。だが、お前はそれに溺れただけだ。次期当主というのはどういう意味かわかるか？
お父さんの後を継ぐという意味です。
違う！次期当主というのは当主が約束されたものではない。いいか、クラウス、二度と教えないからよく聞けよ。次期当主というのはな、自分以外にも当主を狙う奴がいたら、その花を徹底的にへし折って二度と逆らえないようにしてやる奴のことを言うのだ。
Kinzo once again displaying that he's the source of all evil in the Shiramiya household.
これは何も当主だけのことではない。金についても言える。金持ちというのは金を持っているやつのことではない。自分より金を持っているやつ全てを叩き潰し、そして誰よりも金をかき集められるやつのことを言うのだ。 才能も同じ。天才とは才能に秀でたやつのことではない。自分より秀でたやつを全て叩き潰し、自分を天才と全ての人間に呼ばせることを力とカリスマで強要できるやつを指している。お前はその全てにおいて勘違いしているのだよ。だから次期当主の器ではないのだよ。
勉強になります。
Perhaps that was truly Kinzo's philosophy. As a result of faithfully carrying out that rant-like philosophy of his, Kinzo had glorified the Ushiromiya family to the state it was in today. It may be hard to imagine after his immersion in the occult in recent years, but that brutally overbearing outlook was no more or less than Ushiromiya Kinzo's charisma and aura.
このような不甲斐ないクラウスに後ろ宮家の全てを継承する資格などない。ならばエヴァ、ルドルフ、ローザの3人にはあるのか。これも脳である。非分の謎を解けずさりとてクラウスを引きずり下ろす策も浪せず、お前たちにできたのは3人寄せ集めで共同戦線を張ってクラウスから金をせびろうとしたことだけ。しかもその策も浅はかそのもの。クラウス一人を追い詰めることさえできやしない。情けないことこの上なし。次期当主の座をどんなことをしてでも奪い取ろうという貪欲さが足りぬ。欲しいもののためにはいかなる犠牲も払い、どこまでも貪欲となるべし、強欲となるべし。幸運の女神は貪欲なる者にこそ微笑む。その野生の精神がないお前たち3人にクラウス同様に継承の資格などありはしない。
Eva and the rest had no words to respond with, and they couldn't calculate what it was Kinzo was about to say. Was Kinzo actually planning to proclaim that no one would succeed the headship? If so, that would work to Eva, Rosa, and Rudolph's advantage. After all, in the end, they'd just have to renegotiate everything among the siblings after Kinzo's death, splitting the inheritance evenly. It would surely be more troublesome if a specific person's name was raised and proclaimed to be the successor. Would Kinzo really say something to benefit any of the four siblings after demeaning them so much?
まさか誰にも引き継がないからと財産を全て慈善団体にでも寄付するとか言い出すつもりじゃないでしょうね。
お父様ならやりかねないという恐怖はあるわ。
頭に血が上ってるだけさ。しばらくは聞き流すしかね
え。ではお父さん、次期当主についてはどういうお考えをお持ちですか？
お前たちに完全に失望した以上、私は誰に引き継ぐ気も失った。よって後宮家はこれで終わる。私の代で終わりだ。
そういうわけには。
後宮家などあの震災の時にとっくに滅んでおるわ。今の後宮家など私が束の間だけ見ている黄金の幻想に過ぎぬのだ。私が夢より覚めれば終わる程度のもの。この世など全ては夢、幻。生など死という目覚めの前には白チュームと同じよ。ああ、そうだ。元よりそうだったのだ。私が死ぬ時に全てを失うのがベアトリーチェとの契約、そして呪い。そうはいくか、ベアトリーチェ。お前を捕らえるのはこの私だ。今宵それは現実となるだろう。
For a while, Kinzo was overcome with cackling, and his eyes bulged. Whenever he talked about Beatrice, was always both eloquent and insane.
お前たちのような愚かなる息子たちなどまさに白昼夢。初めからいなかったも同然よ。消えろ、覚めろ。真実の私のまどろみと共に消え去ってしまえ。私を継承するに値する何者も築き上げてこなかった出来損ないどもめ。
金蔵さん、よろしいか
な。何か我が友よ。
Nanjo nervously raised his hand, asking to speak. Kinzo allowed him to.
金蔵さんの気持ちもわかる。子供たちを愛するがゆえに大きな期待を寄せ、それゆえに期待を裏切られたような気持ちになる親心。同じく子供や孫を持つ身としてよくわかります。しかし金蔵さんは非凡だ、天才だ。そんな金蔵さんに追いついて当然というんではちょいとひどすぎるんじゃないかね。それでもそんな金蔵さんに追いつこうとクラウスさんもエヴァさんもルドルフさんもローザさんも、そしてその伴侶の皆さんもよく頑張っています。
ほほう、よく頑張ってどの程度の金を稼ぎ上げたというのか。事業にことごとく失敗して借金を抱え、未だに私のすねをかじろうという間抜けどものどこがよく頑張っていると言えるのか。この世の全ては金として結晶しているのだ。それがつかめぬということはこの世を掴んでおらぬということ。魂がこの世をしっかり掴んでおらぬということは生きるに値せぬということだ。
Kinzo, you're the worst.
消えろ、我が生と現実から消え去ってしまえ。
それは暴論です。その理論から言ったら私だって生きていてはいけないことになる。そんな私でも金蔵さんと過ごしたチェスの時間は共に価値あるものだったと信じていますぞ。世の中お金で買えないものもたくさんあることを金蔵さん自身が誰よりもご存知のはずだ。
As the siblings motionlessly hung their heads, they cheered Nanjo on the inside of their hearts. Not one of the siblings could offer their opinions in front of Kinzo in a rage, but Kinzo's close friend Nanjo alone was allowed to. Even though Kinzo had raged so fiercely after being admonished by Nanjo, he nodded several times as though in agreement. This surprisingly obedient side of him might have seemed cute, but there was no one here who could laugh.
確かに息子さんたちは金蔵さんほどの財は築き上げられなかったかもしれない。まあそれでも私から見れば羨ましいほどのお金持ちではありますがな。しかしお金だけでなくお金では買えないたくさんのものを築き上げました。それについて言えば金蔵さんにも負けないくらいです。
ほう、金で買えぬ何を積み上げたというのか。
幸せです。家族です。彼らは素晴らしい伴侶を見つけ子を産み、それぞれの幸せな家庭を築かれています。あなたの一族を繁栄させ、そして孫を連れ帰ってきてくれました。孫はいいですぞ。私たち年寄りは私たちには見ることもかなわぬ新しき時代を生きるだろう我が子孫。無限の未来を想像するのです。
Endless future. Oh. He's gonna criticize the grandchildren, isn't he?
老郷の唯一の楽しみではありませんか。思い出しなさい、金蔵さん。彼らが初めて孫を連れて帰ってくれた時の喜びを息子さんたちは、そして孫たちは金蔵さんの偉業を後の世まで伝え模範としてくれることでしょう。それは お金がいくらあろうとも孤独なる身にはなせぬことです。
The siblings all nodded in agreement. Certainly, Kinzo had looked happy when his grandchildren had been just been born, back when he still had some sanity in his heart. However, did Kinzo's heart still contain a human's warmth?
それはつまり、私が成した巨万の富の代わりに、金を儲ける代わりに、孫を儲けたと、そういうわけか。
いえいえ、そういう意味では。
私が稼ぎ上げた数百億という財産の代わりに、息子たちは一人ずつ孫を設けたというわけか。それは素晴らしい。つまりは100億を投じて命を一つ生み出したと。そういうわけだ。これは面白い。錬金術的に考えて実に面白い例えではないか。ほう、なんと価値ある孫たちなのか。素晴らしい、素晴らしい。そうなのか、クラウス。お前の娘には100億の価値があるというのか。
Cross couldn't answer instantly. It wasn't that he didn't have confidence in his daughter. It was because he didn't have a clue what Kinzo was trying to test him with in this question. But when Natsuhi was then pressed for an answer, she responded by breaking Cross's silence with an answer of her own interpretation.
はい、ジェシカは100億のお金を積まれても手放せない娘です。その意味において、お金では数えられない価値があると信じています。
100億の価値があると言い切るか。ほほう。エヴァはどうか。お前のところのジョージはどうだ。
Since Natsuhi had answered that way, Eva naturally came up with her own answer as well. Even though Eva should have known better than to respond to a provocative question like this, she answered as well.
お父様、ジョージには100億の、いいえ、それ以上の価値があります。それはお金で買えないという抽象的な意味ではありません。ジョージは必ずや自らの価値に等しいだけの財産を築き上げるでしょう。お父様の偉業を継ぐにふさわしい孫となるはずです。
Eva sent a glance at Hideyoshi and Natsuhi as if she scored a point. When she heard what Eva had said, Natsuhi was about to add more praise for her daughter, but stopped at a glare from Cross.
なるほど。ならばルドルフはどうか。お前のところのバトラはどうだというのか。
うちのバトラはジョージ君に比べられちゃ言われることは何もね。誘拐されて身代金を100億よこせと脅されたら、のしをつけて進呈したい程度のやつではある。
Poor battler.
さらにバカで無鉄砲だ。偉そうな夢やできるわけもねえことを語り出す。その一点においてはバカ100億人分に匹敵する大バカだろうさ。バカもできねえ凡人どもが100億人束になってもできねえことをきっとあいつはやり出すだろうよ。ま、俺はどうせこけるだろうとは思ってる。世の中は甘くねえ。しかし100億の凡人を眺めるよりは、奴の人生は干渉して愉快なものになるだろうことだけは疑ってねえぞ。
True. Eva clicked her tongue at a clever style of speech, which would probably match Kinzo's tastes. Apparently, Rudolph had done that on purpose, so he grinned back at her.
マリアはどうか。
What about Ange?
マリアは私の可愛いたった一人の娘です。お金の価値で測れるものではありません。それだけです。
What about Ange?
なるほど。夢と未来、奇跡と可能性は我が魔力の源泉だ。希望をなくしていかなる魔法も力を持ちはしない。 すでに凡百であることを証明してしまったお前たちには何を期待することもかなわないが、なるほど、孫たちには未来の可能性があり、魔法的奇跡を期待する価値はあり得るというわけか。
It's gonna be Ange, isn't it?
それをもって100億以上の価値と言ってみせるなら、わからぬでもない。
When Kinzo got in a rage, he wouldn't let anyone speak up. But even so, he would sometimes accept something on his own while yelling by himself and change his own opinion. That's what this felt like to the siblings. Apparently, even though Kinzo had been disgusted by his unsuccessful children and had cast them away as being unfit for the inheritance of his title or his fortune, he was unsure about his grandchildren. At this rate, he might soon say that the inheritance would go to his grandchildren instead of the siblings, as the siblings sat in fear of what their fickle and short-tempered father might suddenly think of next. He carefully watched his every move.
Hmm. 考えを少し改めよ。お前たちに我が全てを継承する気は全くない。しかし、孫たちの誰かにその資格があるかどうかを問うのはなかなかに面白いことだ。いつまでも子供だと思っておったが、ひょっとすると私を驚かせるような原石のきらめきを見せてくれるかもしれぬ。
Maria or Battler, because Jessica and George are not.
そしてそれを期待し試すのは、なるほど。我が余生最後の道楽としても捨てがたい。さて、これはどうしたものか。
ジョージならお父様の後を継ぐにふさわしいと私は自信を持って推薦できます。
Eva claimed that right away. Nazi looked like she was about to follow along, but Cross gave her a look telling to restrain herself, so she swallowed her words.
勇ましいではないか。では、こうしよう。後宮家の家督と財産のすべてを受け継ぐ資格があるかどうか、孫たちに個別に問おうではないか。
Oh God, is Battler going to encounter Kinzo? Man, I want to see that confrontation so badly.
お父様。
Battler and Kinzo are two characters that have never met, and I want them to talk to each other. I need them to talk to each other.
しかし、それはお前たちの誰かに間接的に家督を引き継ぐという意味ではない。お前たちにはすでに失望しているのだ。お前たちに与えるものは今や何もない。何もな。私が問うのは孫たちだ。そして引き継ぐかもしれないのも孫たちだ。それを決して勘違いするな。
お父さんの判断に従います。
同じくだ。親父の決定に従うぜ。なあ、姉貴。
もちろんよ。お父様が賢明な判断をされると信じています。
私もお父様の判断に従います。
Rosa has no faith in Maria. Oh, fuck you, Rosa.
孫たちをどのように試すかは考えよう。そしてそれはお前たちには今さら関係のない話だ。当主継承とお前たちはもはや何の関係もないのだから。だからこの場ではお前たちに関係のあるもう一つの話をしようではないか。
もう一つの話とは。
それこそが今宵の、そして後宮家最後の親族会議の本当の理由だ。お前たちに求めるのは議論でも意見でもない。我が儀式に 協力を求めるためだ。
儀式？
This is gonna be the...
静かに。お父様がお話をなさっている最中よ。
Rudolph and the rest had automatically narrowed their brows at the occult-like world. Could he be planning to start some strange ceremony involving Beatrice's resurrection again? And he wanted their assistance. What in the world was he planning to do? In the past, he had carried out many eccentricities that he called by the same name, such as starting to burn a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with stench. To the siblings, a ceremony was nothing more than one of the aged Kinzo's obnoxious hobbies.
お父さん、儀式とは一体。
私たちに協力できることなら何でもご協力します。ねえ、ローザ。
ええ、でも一体何を？
私が碑文に刻んだ通りの儀式だ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせ、黄金鏡の扉を開く儀式である。
Is he gonna perform the... Oh god.
肉体の檻を逃れ、私の指の隙間を嘲笑うようにすり抜けるあの魔女を今度こそ捕らえ、屈服させる私の最大の秘術だ。そのために13人もの命を生贄に捧げねばならぬがな。
Oh man. He's gonna start the first Twilight, isn't he?
13人もの生贄は容易には集まらん。しかし今宵は親族会議。これだけの大人数がロッケン島に集まった。この儀式が行えるのは今日を置いて他にないのだ。
Taken literally, it sounded like he was telling them to become human sacrifices for his dark ceremony and die. Ridiculous. Was it some kind of metaphor? They didn't even have a clue what he was trying to illustrate. Siblings whispered together about what Kinzo was saying.
親父は何を言ってるんだ。いつもの悪い病気か？だ
ろうな。しばらく黙ってき。
Oh.
ごめんなさい、お父様。どういう意味でおっしゃられているのか分かりかねます。
何が分かりかねるというのか。私は至極単純に話している。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式のためにこの島にいる人間から13人を選び生贄に捧げようと言っている。何の価値もないお前たちも我が儀式の生贄としてなら大いに役に立てるというわけだ。聞け、これは冗談でも何でもない。我が人生の最後に欲する最後の賭け、最後の儀式である。この島には今13人を超える人間がいる。つまりこの膨大な数の生贄を容易に満たせるだけの頭数が存在するというわけだ。
Is Beatrice just taking Kinzo's place?
お前たちは我が儀式の生贄となれ。
I still don't think that this is Kinzo. I mean, the personality is Kinzo, but everything else is not.
あの話は本気だったのかね。冗談ではなく。
Usually for him, Nanja's face changed color as he stood up and shouted. It seemed as if it was on the first time Nanja had heard all this dark talk about 13 sacrifices.
すまんな我が友よ。あれは冗談でも何でもない。我が生涯を賭して最後に挑む儀式でありゲームなのだよ。そう、これはゲームだ。お前たちにとって我が財産を得て島を出ることがゴールならば、それを達する方法は2つしかない。13人の生贄から逃れ見事生き残り、今更ながら碑文の謎を解いて儀式を止めてみせるか。私を殺しこの儀式を止めてみせるか。 この2つしかない。
Oh, by now everyone wasn't just whispering, but chattering and muttering away. Even the siblings had noticed that Kinzo was beginning to act abnormally.
お父さん、少しお疲れなのでは、源氏さん。お父さんは少し酒を？
いいえ、親方様はご明晰であらせられます。
悪いけど親父、何を言い出すのかさっぱりだぜ。親父が愛する魔女を蘇らせるためにどんな怪しげな儀式を追っ始めてもそりゃ自由だぜ。親父の趣味なんだからな。だがそいつに巻き込まれて生贄にされるのはまっぴらごめんだぜ。
ルドルフ、お父様の話に口を挟む気？
何言ってんだ姉貴。こんな物騒な話にはいそうですかでうなずけるわけねえだろう。
Ooh, was the ceremony Kinzo had mentioned literally something disturbing? Or was it some kind of test to choose the successor? It seemed that Rudolph had taken it literally, but Eva apparently still believed that it was something like a test or examination to find a proper successor. But Kinzo responded with a clear smile.
さて、私からの話は以上だ。異議も意見も何にも必要はない。4人の不出来なる息子たちがいたという私の夢が覚めるだけの話なのだ。お前たちにとってこれより目の前で起こることはまさに夢、幻、あるいはこの世のものと思えぬ理解に及ばぬ世界だろう。しかしそれこそが我が現実。お前たちという出来の悪き浅い夢は今こそようやく覚めるのだ。さあ、もうゲームは始まっているぞ。これだけいては誰から命を奪えばいいものやら。さらばだ、出来の悪き息子たちよ。そして生涯でただ一度、そして最後に私の儀式のために役に立て。いでよ、ペンドラゴンの記念兵たちよ。
You're summoning the bunny girls when Kinzo raised his arm high like an opera singer and yelled as though towards a packed audience. The air shattered like glass, and the outlines of 3 people who supposedly had been invited to the island appeared.
Chiester 45, ここに。
I need 410.
Chiester 410,
Yes. Who are you?
00、ここにであります。
0000. Oh my god, that design. Oh, okay. Oh, she has a scar on her ears. Oh, an eye patch. Red eyes, blonde hair. 3 girls with strange form suddenly appeared behind Kinzo. Where from? When? Who? Who were they? Oh my god, they're literally the humans were thrown off balance and their minds went blank. Oh my god, what is happening here? Because they spent all that time thinking they lost their last chance to survive.
お前たちには6人の射殺を許可する。標的は自由だ。攻撃開始。
自由射撃、了解であります。良き標的に感謝。かっこ自由射撃開始。
Oh my god. Oh my god. When 410 scratched the air with her fingers, a golden ball appeared in an empty space and she pulled its strings. Who's gonna hit? Who is gonna die? The golden arrow that had been ready there was fired off without any hesitation, flew around the room, leaving haphazardly gold curves go everywhere. And chose Nazi. No, Nazi, not you, not you. Oh my god. And chose Nazi from among those sitting at the table from the family conference, pulverizing the left half of her face. Oh god. Oh man. Not Nazi. Oh. Flesh and deep red blood scattered around. Golden slaughter! Leaving mass red splatters on the relatives' faces and the pure white tablecloth. Oh my god, this is becoming a gore manga now. Like a horror pulpy story now. Silence fell, despite the massive number of deep red spots left on the tablecloth. Imagine this scene. Oh man, no one could understand why Natsuhi's head was half smashed. Now why was she hanging her head as though dozing while still sitting? They watched on in silence. Those sitting on Natsuhi's right-hand side were silent for a relatively long time. Those sitting to her left were not, because the people sitting on that side had shown how her head had been smashed open, like a watermelon or a pomegranate. It could even see inside her. Oh. Oh god.
まずは一人、夏日か。最後まで運のない女だ。次。
Oh god.
WO 射撃。
Oh god. After scratching the empty air in the same way and readying her bow, Double O fired as well. After he flew around and around at high speeds, like the golden arrow 410 had released, drawing a convoluted curve in the same manner, it smashed half of Rudolph's... no! Rudolph's head in the same way as he looked at Natsuhi in shock, killing him instantly. Rudolph! No! Why? Why? I needed to see you and Battler together. Come on. Why are they delaying that so much? I need the drama. This time everyone managed to avoid freezing up mentally. Ugh. Oh, what's Ange's reaction gonna be actually? She's seen this, right? They realized that the fearsome murder had started playing out right in front of them, just as Kinzo had said. And they realized that Kinzo would probably kill everyone even more. Shrill screams burst out. Even so, they didn't know what to do, so they could only keep screaming and flapping their wide open mouths like goldfish. As if I asked Kinzo that in total shock, Hideyoshi, who had come to his senses faster than anyone else and risen to his feet, pulled her arm from behind. Ooh. However, merciless fates chose for the third sacrifice was Hideyoshi. Just like the two before him, half of Hideyoshi's head was neatly smashed. The right side of his head, which had happened to be facing that direction at the time, had been blown away by its contents exposed like watermelon or a pomegranate. So still holding Eva, Hideyoshi slumped backwards and fell down. Still held by her beloved husband, Eva fell over backwards with him. Eva screamed. It was only natural. The place she had been looking for had been half lost. The crushed skull, the mashed brains, and the crushed jaw all laid bare.
45着弾命中。
見事だ。続けて撃て。
Kinzo didn't have anything to say about Rudolph nor Hideyoshi.
残りは3人であるぞ。
But he had something to say about Natsuhi.
お父さん。これは何の真似です。
When Cross stood up forcefully and was about to rush Kinzo, Double O blocked him. With her slender-looking body, she held that cross with just the palm of her right hand. Oh my god. Umineko is a power fantasy manga. He still tried to resist and attack Kinzo. So Double O lifted cross by the nape of the neck and twisted it into his Adam apple with her thumb. Oh my god, I can't read. It seemed to be painful, and Cross was overcome with agony. Umineko is a battle shonen now. A power fantasy. Not just sharp words. Finally dissolved the spell that had been holding them down in their chairs. When Goda and Kumasawa each tried to escape from the dining hall first, 410 moved in an instant and appeared there, blocking the way. Oh god. Even though Goda didn't understand, he crouched when he heard Kirie's sharp voice. Then a burst of air rushed above his head. Kirie had taken a big swing with a chair to mow 410 down. But 410, still with a mocking expression, easily caught that widely swung chair with a single hand. Oh.
おっかない女だに。旦那の後がそんなに追いたい？
Ooh. From the cuff of her arm, where she had caught the chair, something like a shining golden snake appeared, wrapped itself around the chair, and burst open. It was a fearsome power, like a vice. When Kirie realized that the being in front of her, which looked like a girl, was actually something that surpassed human knowledge, and that a human could not even begin to oppose, her head was filled with a fierce alarm bell that welled up from deep beside her. Genji, Shannon, and Ken, all the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle, continued to stand calmly at attention by the wall, even with a scene like this before their eyes, making them look very bizarre and eerie. For an instant, Kirie thought they'd managed to stay calm because they were in with the enemy, had been given a guarantee that they wouldn't be killed. But as soon as she thought that, the sight of Genji's face was blown away before her eyes. Oh.
45着弾命中。
ほほう、源氏。これは運が悪い。安らかに眠れ、我が友よ。
Kinzo doesn't care.
そなたの死は無駄にはならぬぞ。我が愛しき魔女復活の重要なる13の鍵の一つとなるのだから。
Half of Genji's expression that remained was as indifferent as ever. It tilted, fell over, and set a blood-red splatter out across the floor.
Genji 様。
僕たちなんて、所詮は魔女の駒なんだ。所詮。
Oh, Cannon. Oh man, I'm missing Cannon, man. Cannon has been away for so long. For the meek and frustrated, no, resigned expression on Shannon and Cannon's faces, one couldn't sense any naive hopes they'd be rescued. That's right. Kinzo was in the truest sense carrying out these murders at random. In the truest sense, he was killing like it was a game to see who would be saved and who would be killed.
さて、次は誰を狙うかに。
410 looked at Kirie for a second. In that second, Kirie was prepared for her own death. When she readied her golden bow midair, 410 was looking at someone else over Kirie's shoulder. So, as imprudent as ever, Kiri felt as though she'd been saved. Again, an ugly exploding popping sound rang throughout the room. Who was it this time? When Kiri turned to face the direction of the sound, she saw blood gushing like a fountain, and Ava lying on her husband's chest. Of course, her face had been half smashed just like her husband's. 410 had mercilessly targeted Ava as she clung to her husband's corpse, sobbing. Rosa's objection didn't reach Kinzo as he continued to laugh loudly in the blood-splattered dining hall, and she wasn't able to lessen Rosa's pain at being lifted up by the nape of the neck by double wall. So Rosa had no choice but to use force. She lifted a chair beside her and gave her a warning.
できぬな。それを望むならば、お前の自らの力で阻止するがよい。自らの運命は自らの手で切り開け。常に誰かの背に隠れ、怯えてきたお前に宿る人生最後の国旗を見せてみよう。
The chair that Rosa had lifted up swung down at the father who had reigned as a symbol of terror for her entire life. It was the greatest and final act of bravery and self-control in Rosa's life. What Kinzo had said might have been true. She had grasped that courage much sooner. Her life might have become more free, unrestrained by anyone else. Then there was a bursting sound. Sound of Rosa's chair fiercely hitting Kinzo. Could not have been this. With the chair still lifted up, she nearly lost half of her head and slumped over. Still holding cross with one hand, Double O had stuck her other hand out towards Rosa. The golden slate released from that arm had constricted Rosa in a helix and had smashed into her head.
資金団の無礼をお詫びするであります。
構わぬ。ん？これで6人であるか。
はい、ゴールドスミス卿、これで6人であります。
Goldsmith. When she indifferently communicated that, Double O let go of Cross, whom she had been lifting up the whole time. Man, Double O is good.
第一の番の生贄はエヴァにルドルフにローザ、夏日、秀吉、そして源氏であるか。
So Cross survived. It was a massacre that happened in an instant. The interior of the dining hall had been dirtied by blood spatter. The 6 unlucky victims lay with their heads brutally exposed. So I think it's Beatrice taking this time instead of being Ava Beatrice. Now this time she's Kinzo. In a way that was fitting for that abnormal space, Kinzo's abnormal laugh alone echoed out.
いよいよに幕を開けたぞ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式の始まりだ。運よく第一の番を逃れた者たちに我が友人たちを紹介しようではないか。いでよ、我が友よ、ロノウェイ。
He's calling Ronovae. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. I guess. I mean, it's Beatrice, right? Or not? I don't know. When Kinzo called Ronovae's name, the demon butler showed himself in midair, bowing respectfully. In midair.
皆様方、はじめまして。そして ご無沙汰の皆様におかれましてはごきげんよう。これはまた派手に散らかされましたようで。
よいわ。我が白昼夢のごとき日々を覚ますにはこの程度の刺激が必要だ。紹介しよう。我が友人であり頼れる執事であり、72柱の大悪魔であるロノウだ。
This is just smoke and mirrors right here. Holy hell. Just who was he making that introduction to? Cross and Kyrie, who was still down on their backsides, and Ange and Goto and Kumasawa, and only looked up at this middle-aged gentleman and didn't know in shock. Only Shannon and Ken seemed to recognize him, and they bowed deeply.
源氏には挨拶が叶いませんでしたが、せめて苦痛なく役目を終えられたなら良いのですが。
頭部直撃弾にて即死でした。苦痛を味わう暇もありません。
そうですか、結構です。
続けて友を紹介しよう。いでよ、我が友ワルギリア。
He's summoning. What the hell? Kumasawa and Virgilio in the same. Oh my god. Once again, a silhouette of someone little relatives didn't know appeared from the empty space. Man, this is quite. She appeared in a refined dress while making an elegant greeting.
召喚を感謝します、親方様。
So, oh god. This is quite weird because. Oh god, this is so multi-layered that I don't even know what's going on anymore. So, I think that Kumasawa is Virgilia, right? Ronove is Genji. Virgilia is employed by Kinzo and raised Kinzo's illegitimate daughter, Beatrice. Kinzo had a lover, which was Beatrice. He named his own daughter Beatrice, that's my theory. And then he tried to raise his own daughter as his lover, but that didn't work, and his daughter escaped and died. And now there's a third iteration of Beatrice running around. That's the Beatrice we know. That's the Beatrice interacting with Battler, and that's the Beatrice manipulating Maria. That's the third generation Beatrice. And that person is Shannon. That's my theory. Now, then Beatrice in the game board is now taking over Kinzo's place and doing all this. Is that what it is? That? Oh my god, this is so confusing. So yeah. The game board Beatrice, the one in the one watching this, is the one controlling Kinzo right now. The one, I think. Just like she made Ava Tris in the last episode. She's not making Kinzo do all this. Just to toy around with Battler, I think. Okay, I brainstormed and found my way out of this whole situation.
我が友であり頼れる相談役でもあるワルギリアだ。偉大なる有限の魔女であるお前の力を我が儀式に借りたい。その力を貸せ。
お断りしようにもあなたの強力な召喚霊族化にある。
Oh my god, this is so complicated.
行儀、親方様。
それにしても恐ろしいお方だ。シエスタの姉妹兵を3人も召喚し、私に加えさらにワルギリア様までも召喚せしめるとは、召喚という能力においてのみとはいえ、お嬢様をもはるかに上回るとは恐ろしい。
Again lying. Again with the fucking lies.
後宮の地に戦慄を覚えます。
ベアトリーチェフ 活の儀式を執り行うために私は召喚師としての全てを尽くすだろう。
I won't fall for the same thing twice. Beatrice was the last time.
まだ足りぬな。この度の儀式の完璧なる遂行のためにさらに召喚しよう。
The Seven Sisters now?
ペンドラゴンの記念碑に炉の上にワルギリア、まだ呼べるぞ。我が魔力ならまだまだ呼べる。我が召喚に応えよ。72柱が一人、ガープよ。
A new one.
あれまでも権限できるというのですか？
さらにこの島の侵食が進んだということでしょう。私たちが権限できているほどです。今さらどんな大悪魔が呼び出せたとしても驚くには値しますまい。
もはやロッケン島は完全に異世界に飲み込まれているということですか？彼が屈服しないと良いのですが。
前回たっぷり入れ知恵をなされたでしょう。この程度では今さら屈服しますまい。おそらくですがね。さて私たちはこの舞台を楽しもうではありませんか。
Oh my god, this is so confusing.
今回の主人公はどうやら親方様のようだ。
Oh, they are already speaking what's happening here.
お嬢様とは一味違った脚本に期待しましょう。
So, oh my god. That was a blue screen of death. What happened there? When Kinzo strongly concentrated his magical power, a pale light gathered in the empty air, twisted, and a magical circle was drawn there with a deep red glow. I want to see this one. Happy Maria. Oh my god, this music. Okay. Oh my god, this design. Her dress is like slits separated in the in the side. Okay, I see you. I see it. Oh my god, her little head with the bow tie is so cute. And she has like drill. Oh my god, she's the drill Joe-sama. Oh my god. And with a sound like glass breaking, a new demon could be seen there. Oh god, this design is actually good. But she's...
よくぞ我が呼びかけに応えた。72柱の大悪魔が一つ、ガープよ。
すごいところに呼び出されたものね。
Oh my god, her voice. Oh god.
この血まみれの部屋を掃除するために私は呼び出されたのかしら？ゴールド・スミス。
Oh my god, her voice. Oh god, this is so good. Oh god. A literally devilish woman wrapped in a venomous, ominous costume. Look at the scene, which should have been made her cover her eyes and twisted her mouth in a grin.
そのためだけにあなたを呼び出すとしたらカシミヤのマフラーで雑巾掛けをするようなものですよ。
お久しぶりですね、ガープ。あなたのような大悪魔がとうとうこの島に現れてしまうな。
there's Ronove here already. So.
いよいよこの島も幻想に沈むのでしょうか。
部屋の惨状よりもこの豪華キャストの方が驚くべきね。シエスタ姉妹が3人もいて、大悪魔ロの上に大魔女ワルギリアに私まで。これは何事？ここはパンデモニウム？地獄の演奏会でも始めるつもりかしら。なるほど。
Oh my god, her voice.
そこで指揮棒が震えるのはあなたぐらいしか思いつかないわ。
そなたにはベアトリーチェを蘇らせる我が儀式遂行のための進行役として協力してもらう。我が召喚契約に依存はないな。
I need to hear her voice again.
これは何事？ここはパンデモニウム？地獄の演奏会でも始めるつもりかしら。なるほど。そこで指揮棒が震えるのはあなたぐらいしか思いつかないわ、ゴールド・スミス。依存も何も。
Oh my god, her face.
天下の大魔女ベ ベアトリーチェを刺激した伝説の大召喚師ゴールドスミス教の召喚霊族に私が抗えるわけもない。
They're just... Oh my god, smoke and mirrors again. Fuck me.
協力はするわよ。もちろん。見合ったお題もいただくけどね。で、最初の仕事は
第一の番を免れた間抜けどもを捕らえよ。
I want to see Ange's reaction.
幸いにもここにはまだ7人いるではないか。南條にシャノンにカノン、ゴーダに熊沢、キリエにクラウス。ほう、この7人をまるまる生贄に捧げればちょうど13人だ。第2の番以降を実行するタイミングが訪れるまで生贄の檻に放り込んでおくがよかろうが。
Oh man.
カシミヤの雑巾がけね。了解したわ。
As Gaap shrugged her shoulders, she looked across, was still down on his butt. She glared. Then, when she snapped her fingers, Cross was swallowed up by the floor, as though a round pitfall had opened up beneath him. Oh no, powers of teleportation. Oh no. There was no hole in the floor. It had suddenly looked as though Cross had been swallowed up by a hole and disappeared. Oh god. Searching for the next prey, Gaap closed... Gaap! Oh my god, her name! I just realized! Gaap. Gaap's gaze crossed Kirie's. She snapped her fingers. Kirie jumped back as though repelled. Her instincts had been right. After all, the place where she'd been until seconds ago, a round jet black hole had appeared, the same kind that had swallowed up Cross. However, before she could catch her balance, another pitfall appeared and swallowed her up. Oh man. Teleportation powers, portal powers, anything to do with portals are very OP. Are very overpowered. Even as Kirie had no way of eluding Gaap's capture. Gaap? Gaap? I don't know. Then she snapped her fingers again, as a shocked Nanjo was swallowed up. Oh man. So swallowed up by the floor and disappeared. She did it again. 410 let out a short yell and jumped back. Oh my god. This time a slightly larger pitfall had opened up, swallowing both Shannon and Cannon. I've been standing in the light by the door. But because 410 had jumped away from the door, the way was no longer blocked. Instinctively aware that he would be next, Goda dashed out through that door. Of course, Kumasawa also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. As Gaap snapped her fingers over and over, round jet black pitfalls opened one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive their recklessly fleeing pair away, and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasawa had escaped in a matter of seconds.
鈍ったわ。二人逃がした。ご安心を。逃走目標を補足中であります。
データリンクよし。にひ、狙撃しますか？
いいえ、それは許可できませんよ。貴重な生贄です。お役人様の許可を待つよう。
大ゴールドスミス教、指示を待ちます。
第二の番の訪れにはまだ早いと我が魔力の源泉がささやいておるわ。
Smoke and mirrors again. Oh.
今はならぬ。好きにさせてやれ。
I see.
どうせこの島からは逃げられぬわ。
親方様の魔力の源泉とはすなわちノイズとリスクと運試し。つまりは気まぐれ。
Man, this is truly a Halloween party, huh?
そうとも言うかもしれぬ。
Happy Halloween for Maria.
Gaap ご苦労であった。
Gaap.
儀式はこのまま着実に進めよう。さて、それはそれとして、次は我が孫たちだ。次期当主たる資格があるかどうかを試す。はてさて、どうやってその資質を確かめたものか。
Cross survived.
その資格があると判断されたなら、
And went into
ベ
a
アトの
black
復
hole.
活を断念されるおつもりで。
無論だ。にもかかわらず試す。女の身にはわからぬであろうな。この矛盾、我が狂気など。
相変わらず男ってどこか変ね。
Oh my god,
リ
her
スクを
voice.
遊ぶという概念わかりかねるわ。
おやおや、あなたはそういうのが大好きかと思っておりましたが。
She might become my third favorite voice actress.
もちろんよ。
I don't recognize her from anywhere, but still, her
男
voice.
に危険なリスクと一緒に恋をささやかれたらキュンキュンしちゃうわ。ただしイケメンに限る。
Okay. Oh, run away.
お静かに、死後は慎むように。
Okay, I'm gonna like her a
実
lot.
にかしましい奴らだ。だが少なくとも退屈はせぬ。これだから召喚は愉快なのだ。そなたらには我が儀式のノイズとリスクの天秤の片側を担ってもらうぞ。その働きに期待している。
6 brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall and was contaminated with red gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that, until just a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kinzo lined up the famous demons and their subordinates, loudly declared the beginning of a night of overwhelming mass murders, and swore to himself that he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Lands.
待たせたな。これにて第一の番、いよいよ開幕。
You tried the same thing twice, Beatrice. It's not gonna work anymore. At least for me, I don't know about Battler.
金蔵め、相変わらず派手を好む男よ。付きまとわれればしつこいことこの上なき男も、舞台の上ではこれほどまでに映えるというのか。
くそ、相変わらず黒い殺し方ばかりしやがって。頭部半壊だ。てめえら魔女ども悪魔どもの悪趣味には相変わらずうんざりさせられるぜ。
頭部半壊。なるほど。
To leave their
これまでの
identities
ゲームで
intact.
一番理想的な殺し方がこれだと気づいたわけね。
理想的？このひでえ殺し方がどう理想的だってんだ。
She learned from the third game, I guess.
実に理想的じゃない。
Oh god, she's appearing here as well. Oh no.
一番最初のゲームを思い出してみるといい。
And she knows about the previous games. Holy.
お前はさっき登場しやがった新しい悪魔とかいうやつか。くそ、また魔女の侵食が進んでろくでもないやつが増えたというわけなのか。
The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rokkenjima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. This island had been closed off by the typhoon, so no humans can leave it, much less appear as new characters to increase their numbers. The more the corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limits, increasing one by one. By now, there might have been more demons than humans amongst the characters appearing in this insane tale. That's a little bit meta. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. There's 7. Yeah, there's almost enough. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. The corrosion hadn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. If the corrosion advances even further and even more weird people appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? It's so scary I can't imagine. Seriously, give me a break. Don't make these weird guys increase in numbers anymore.
そうはいかんぞ。まだまだ増やすぞ。人間どもの語るクローズドサークルなる間抜けなルールをわらわがいくらでも怪我してやろうぜ。
Right now there's what, 16 fantastical characters, seven sisters, the four witches, the 2 demons, and now the 3 Chiester sisters.
よく来たな。我が優雅なるゲームへガープよ。お久しぶりね、リーチェ。
リーチェ。
お元気だった？というか随分元気そうじゃない。あなた若返った？私が知ってる頃より2、300歳は若々しいわ。ああ、なるほど。
The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced as Gaap, took a glance at me and then grinned as though she figured something out on her own. That smile felt openly obscene.
ベアトの友人らしいな。ってことは輪をかけてろくでもねえやつってわけだ。しかしクローズドサークルがなんとかって言ってやがったが、どういう意味だ？
今のロッケン島のような外界から断絶された場所で起こる連続殺人ミステリーはクローズドサークルとも呼ばれるわ。外界からの断絶、つまりは閉じられた輪の世界というわけ。故に登場人物と容疑者は限定されるのが一般的にもかかわらず、新しい容疑者候補が次々に輪の外から追加されていくのはミステリーの作法に反する。つまり人間とミステリーに対する魔女の冒涜ってつもりなんでしょうよ。
あなたがグレーテル？なるほど、賢い子みたいね。そういう子は好きよ。舌が甘くてとろけるから。
Oh God。
気色悪い。冗談は服だけにしておいて。
Oh God。
デビリッシュプリティの最新作、ジャック・ザ・リッパー・クリスマス・ブラッド。人間界の田舎娘には理解できないセンスでごめんね。
通気性がいいのだけは理解できたわ。ついでに頭にも切れ目を入れたら？
Oh God。
脳みその通気性も良くなるかもね。
Oh my God。
ガープは魔界の流行にいつも敏感でな。しかし今年の流行りも実に大胆だ。わらわも一度ぜひ取り寄せてみるとしよう。
Oh my God。Beatrice wearing that。Oh no。
リーチェはアリグレがおすすめね。アリス&ザ・グレーブヤード。今度一緒に666にお洋服見に行きましょうよ。
Oh my God。
たまには魔界にもいらっしゃいな。このゲームを終えたらぜひそうしようぜ。それにしてもリーチェの対戦相手のお二人はなかなか可愛いわ。この子なら東部半壊死体にどういう意味があるか察しがつきそうね。わかる？お嬢ちゃん。
さっきこいつは一番最初のゲームを思い出せと言ったらどういう意味だ？
言葉通りの意味を。一番最初のゲームの第1の版を思い出して、大人たちの死体が魔法陣の描かれた園芸倉庫の中で発見された時のことよ。
So Ange knows the first game as well. Strange. Ange knows the first game. Episode 1. The first Twilight. Oh my God, this is getting so meta. It's hurting my brain. It's hurting my brain. Cross, Rudolph, QX, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died.
あの時、あそこには2種類の死体があったわ。それは顔面を粉砕された死体と側面を粉砕された死体の2種類。
そうだ。
Witch's piece.
顔面粉砕はルドルフ、キリエ、ローザ、ゴーダの4人。
Am I setting myself up for a very dangerous plot twist here?
側頭部粉砕はクラウス、シャノンの2人だ。わらわも あの時点では気まぐれに生み出した2種類の死体であったが、より残忍な死体である前者の方がわらわにとってむしろ不利であることに気づいたのだ。
ベアトにとって不利。そうか、そういうことか。
So none of the dead people can be the culprits in later crimes. That's right. The smashed face might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at the time, Uncle Cross and Shen had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half their face remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. But that and the other three were different. Because his face had been completely destroyed, even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be dead because of his clothes and the like. In short, it remained vague until the end whether that really had been Dad's corpse.
第1のゲームの時にも、もしも推理バトルが行われてたら、俺は多分、
Ange
親父たちの死体
has
を
no reaction
本人確認不能のため、偽装死体の可能性もあると主張していたかもしれない。
to her dad being killed?
何しろ、あのゲームの時には、ベアトは一切赤での発言もしていない。
お上手よ。それで正解。偽装死はミステリーの基本の一つ。たとえ医者に検証させたとしても、犯人とグルを疑われればその結果は信用できない。
More meta.
つまり確実な死を保証できない死体は常に魔女サイドを不利にするということ。
あらゆる死体について偽装死を疑い、その後の事件の犯人に想定することができる。バトラの嫌う手だけど、魔女に対する最も初歩的な一手ね。
Still, if you don't look at the corpse yourself, if the detective doesn't look at the corpse, then you can say that the corpse might not have been a corpse, might have been a lie.
ああ、そうだ。だからベアトは赤を使い出した。赤き真実で完璧な検証を行うようになったんだ。
If the other people alive don't confirm the corpses, then
そういうことだ。本来ならばこの第一の番の惨劇に対し、わらわはすぐにでも赤き真実にてこの度の6人の死亡を確定させるところである。しかし知っての通り、今回のわらわの戦法はこれまでとは正反対に赤き真実の兵糧攻めといったところ。そなたが反撃の拠り所にしようとする以上、わらわは容易には赤を使わぬ。必要最低限の赤にてたった一箇所だけほころびさせればいい。つまりわらわは究極的に言えば、そなたのあらゆる密室の推理についてあらゆる暴言を許せども、そのうちの一つをたった一回の赤き真実にて打ち破るだけで良いわけだ。
散々俺をいたぶってきやがったくせに、俺が反撃に使い出したら今度は引っ込めやがったってわけだ。ふざけやがってよ。
とにかく赤を使いたくない。けっちりたい。
Oh God.
バトラをいじめてやりたい。しかし赤を使わずに確実なる死を保証するにはどうすればよいのか。わらわは悩みに悩んだわけだ。そのアイデアをガープがくれた。実に簡単な方法だったのだ。当たり前なことを言ったら
And
リーチが
they're just giving up everything right now for me to solve. Holy hell.
私は誰にでも容易に身元の判別と完全なる死が理解できる死体を用意すればいいと言っただけ。つまりはその2つを合体させたわけよ。身元の判別に必要な顔と完全なる死の象徴である魂の器たる頭部の粉砕、この2つを左右ぴったりきれいに合体させたら、あら不思議、この頭部半壊死体がパーフェクトであるという答えが出たわけだ。
お前絶対2色パンとか2色アイスが好きだろ。欲張りな子供市民丸出しだぜ。
いずれにせよ、たとえ頭部が半壊していたとしても、現時点では彼らが死んだとみなすべきではないわ。
分かってる。ベアトがもったいぶって赤での宣言を拒む以上、全ては疑ってかかるべきだな。もちろんシエスタの太もも姉ちゃんたちの魔法殺人だって鵜呑みになんか絶対しねえぜ。
Chiester ass merchant. What the? Oh man.
本当に慎重になったこと。最初のゲームの頃だったなら何でもかんでも鵜呑みにしてくれていたのにね。公的種はこうでなくては面白くないというものよ。今は赤がないことを幸いに自由な想像を広げ、好きに推理を重ねるがいい。一番最後の一番美味しいところでバッサリと赤き真実にて叩き切ってくれようぞ。
There's only, I mean, if you I'll be pausing for a second. I need to get somewhere. Silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit. The first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she'd been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is what I always tell myself. If it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that if I naively try to close my eyes just for a second and end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair, it will hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard, cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in the mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make the mark disappear. But I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Oh my god, where? Without a doubt, it was some source of light. But if I looked up at the ceiling, or else the sky, it was only an expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. Didn't Rosa die? As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter-patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. What is happening? They also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in the darkness like this, she stared in the direction of the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint, approaching silhouette came into view. Oh god. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child, separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart.
Uryu.
Is this after she died and now she's seeing Saktaro? The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt pain in the half in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor, as though it had been pierced by a long, thin, hard needle. As though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face.
大丈夫？まだ痛い？
ありがとう、僕。ここはどこ？すごく寒いわ。
こっちへ来て、ここにいちゃいけない。
That child took my other hand and pulled it with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal sensation. Oh no. So even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance, and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？
ごめんなさいね。頭が痛むの。
When the kid said that infantile word, Uryu, pain like being struck with the needles ran through my head again. Oh, is this her guilt? Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said so frankly.
ごめんなさい。ウリュウという口癖をやめてもらえる？
ウリュウ。
Ooh.
ちょっとやめてって言ってるでしょ。
ごめんなさい。
I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. Oh man, this is her guilt. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him. When I'm around this child, my head hurts.
大丈夫？早く行こう。ここは行っちゃダメ。
どうしてここにいちゃダメなの？ねえ、ここはどこ？あなたは誰？あなたのママはどこ？
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。
え？
A child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who? Who is this kid? I don't remember him at all.
僕のこと忘れちゃった？ママが僕を作ったんだよ。
ちょっと冗談はやめて。私の子供はマリアだけよ。そう。マリアはどこ？マリアはどこなの？マリア！
I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where is Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria is there for me. This is after she died, isn't it? Oh God.
マリアはいるけど、今はマリアじゃない。今は会わない方がいいの。
Oh no.
その方がママのためだし、マリアのためなの。
Okay, Saktaru.
マリアのためにも逃げて。
え？何を言ってるの？マリアはどこ？マリア！返事をして！
マリアに見つかっちゃう。早くこっちに来て、ママ！
A child pulled my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria. So I stopped walking.
話してよ。大体あなたは誰よ？あなたにママなんて言われる覚えはないわよ。
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。忘れちゃったの？マリアのバースデープレゼントにするために僕を手作りしてくれたの忘れちゃったの？
あなたまさか マリアの作太郎。
ママに作ってもらったライオンのぬいぐるみだよ。
Oh man, I'm having a bad feeling about this. A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. And I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm. A hole the size of a thumb had opened there, and deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big that I could see it through to the other side.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？大丈夫？どうしたの？
Saktar noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he didn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury. But in my eyes, it felt I'd been injured because he grabbed my hand. Regardless of whether there was malice in him, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie.
あっちへ行って。あなたなんか知らないわ。作太郎は気持ち悪い下手くそなぬいぐるみでしょ。
Oh God.
私は知らないわよ。ママなんかじゃないわよ。あっちへ行って。
Her voice too.
消えて。
Slowly, the base of Saktaro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open, and pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it. Only an empty blackness peeked out. Saktar, this is like your third death. Then, from the insides of the gash, cotton snow poured out, and as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. Then all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth. Oh man. And bits of cotton that looked like sticky crushed cotton candy. Oh, again. A lion, stuffed animal, without a doubt. These were the remains of the Saktaro stuffed animal I tore apart on that day, while overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Oh man, like a flood from a broken dam or a broken TV. Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by my emotions and went overboard. It was a mother's desire to kneel down right away, hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying. Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. Oh, I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up rapidly, and then it burst. After all, she refused to make up with me, even though I had apologized. And there was nothing else I could do now anyway, and it was Maria's fault in the first place. Rosa, you don't learn. Since she's too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this, she can't make any friends. That's why people treat her like a freak. This is a perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. everything eventually breaks, is stolen, is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers and sister, and father and mother. But when I cried about that, while I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents. Throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick it, and make a racket. She's hitting her daughter. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get more trouble if I did, so I always held it back. It's because I held it that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. Oh God. At that moment, I felt something strange. Same feeling as when you use a tool recklessly and it finally breaks, so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool. I had just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So I looked at my hands. Oh my God. From my wrist onwards, my hands had broken off, splintered, and disappeared. As though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. No, as though all of me from the wrist onwards had suddenly become ceramic and had broken and fallen. Oh, it must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look, aren't both of my wrists lying smashed by my feet? Oh my God. What is happening? Is this like there was no pain? The shock of my side of my hands breaking off from the wrist onwards make me scream. Oh my God, look at that. Oh no. Good job, Beatrice. Good job. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy tone. Can you hear the sarcasm in my voice right now? Good job. A round of applause. Slowly moving her hands away from her head, where they had been defending against my barrage. I mean, Rosa had it coming, but still, don't teach a 9-year-old to kill her own mother. Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult. Who? Beatrice, of course.
娘の頭を投げ、絵本をめくる。温かい食事を作ることのできる腕なら残しても良いかと考
え。ママはマリアの頭を撫でるより叩く方が多いよ。
Oh man.
絵本なんかめくってくれない。ご飯だって作ってくれない。マリアが自分で買いに行くの。でも同じお店に何度も行っちゃいけないし、顔を覚えられてもいけない。おまわりさんに話しかけてもいけない。なんで？どうして？マリアが悪いの？マリアはママに撫でてもらったり、絵本を読んでもらったり。
Maria's outburst is fine, but what I don't agree with is Beatrice manipulating her.
一緒にご飯を食べたりしちゃいけないの？どうして？どうして？マリア悪くないよ。マリア悪くない。ママが悪い。ママが悪い。
Oh man. Voice.
ママは一緒に遊んでくれないけど、サク太郎は一緒に遊んでくれた。本も読んでくれた。テレビも見てくれた。一緒にご飯も食べてくれた。ママよりもっともっと大切な友達だったのに。
悪かったと思ってるわ。でも仕方ないでしょ。ママは仕事で忙しいのよ。仕事で。ママの仕事が忙しいのは知ってるでしょ。仕方ないのよ。仕方ない。
そうだ、
これは仕方なきこと。そなたの娘が傷つき、心を引き裂かれ、涙に血を浮かべることさえ、これは仕方なきこと。なれば今この場にてこのようなることになるもまた、すべては仕方なきこと。さあマリア、母を名乗った女の言い分は以上だぞ。許せる。いな、無罪か、はたまた有罪か。
You're telling a 9-year-old to pass judgment. Great fucking job.
許せない。ママは有罪だ。サクタロにママがしたのと同じ目に合わせてやる。ママを首の縫い目のところから引き裂いて中の綿をぶちまけてやる。
Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In an instant, invisible, massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body make a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa had understood vaguely. The massive arms were probably her own arms from the time she torn Saktaro apart. From a stuffed animal's perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. So she couldn't imagine what would happen next. Its sharp nails stuck deep into the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. Ugh. Then, as the two witches watched over, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Saktaro had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes, but in Rosa's case, something like a black thick tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red of blood. It was something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside her body, inside their body. Ooh. Oh. Rosa had it coming, still. I don't want to hear anything Beatrice has to say about this. This is Maria. This should be Maria's decision by herself if she wanted to do this, but she's being manipulated by Beatrice, and now Beatrice is... Oh man. When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant. Oh. Guess you have no problem in reviving people now, huh? Just like you lied in episode 3. Gotta... Okay, I'm not... If Lambda Delta ever decides to fuck Beatrice up, then I'm not going to complain. I'm sorry. If Lambda Delta ever decides that, I'm not going to complain at all.
もしもし、ママなの？ママは何時に帰ってくるの？
ごめんなさいね。今日も仕事が忙しくて泊まりになってしまうの。
またお仕事でお泊まり？ママのお仕事、今日も大変だね。
ごめんね。本当に忙しいの。もうずっと会社に缶詰よ。外の空気も吸えやしないわ。ママの仕事は早く終わらすだけじゃダメなの。より良いデザインを上げないと次から仕事をもらえない大変な仕事なのよ。だからどうしても時間がかかっちゃうの。うん、分かってるよ。マリア、いい子でお留守番してるからお仕事いっぱい頑張って早く終わらせてお家に帰ってきてね。ママのお仕事を分かってくれてありがとう。明日美味しいケーキを買って帰ることを約束するわ。ケーキいらないよ。
ケーキ屋さんによって遅くなるよりその分ちょっとでも早くママが帰ってくる方が嬉しい。
大丈夫よ、早く帰ってくるわ、約束する。だから美味しいケーキを2人で食べて、美味しい紅茶を2人で飲んで、一緒に新しい絵本を読みましょう。この間買った狼と羊のパズルで遊びましょうね。2人で一緒に、約束よ。
Oh man。
約束、待ってるね。お仕事頑張ってね、ママ。
ほうほう、寂しい話ではあるが、互いを思い合う良き親子愛ではないか。何か問題があるというのか、マリ、そしてローザよ。
Oh God, Rosa。
その約束は私はちゃんと守ったはずよ。次の日の夕方に約束通りケーキを買っていつもより早い帰宅をしたはずよ。
マリアは知ってたよ。あの日の夕方ね、ママ宛てに着払いの荷物が来たけど、お財布の中のお金が足りなかったから、ママにどうしようって相談したくて会社に電話したの。特別な時以外はかけちゃダメって言われてたけど、ママのお仕事の大切なものだったら悪いしと思って電話したの。そしたらママはお休みだって言われた。
Oh man, Rosa。
その日はずっと前からお休みに決まってて、遠くへ遊びに行っているって言われたの。マリアは知ってたよ、ママが嘘をついてるって。ずっと知ってた。でもね、サク太郎がそうじゃないってマリアを叱ってくれたの。ママは毎日お仕事でとても大変、マリアを放っておいて遊んでるはずなんてないって。ママはお休みって言った人はきっと何か勘違いして言ってしまったんだよって。サク太郎がそう言うんだもん。マリアは信じたよ。マリアは信じた。ママ大好き、ママ大好き。もちろんママだってマリアを愛してる、愛してるって。
Oh, Maria's voice。
私もよ、愛してるわ、マリア。
Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out even more beautifully. On the table in front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below.
娘さんに旅行って話してないんですか？
Oh no。
行くって言って前にうるさかったんで、以来言わないことにしてるんです。その方が面倒がなくていいんで。
娘さんが気になるなら無理に日程を組まなくてもよかったじゃありませんか。
でもそれじゃいつまで経っても予定が合わないし、それは気にしないでって言ったでしょ。
Rosa, what are you doing? This is her boyfriend, right? The slender middle-aged man clad in a white robe gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action.
もう娘の話はなしにして、せっかくの上等なワインが台無しよ。
私はあなたに一人の人間としても女性としても魅力を感じています。ですがだからこそこうして時間を割くのは申し訳ないと感じています。
私と娘の事情は気にしないでくださいっていつも言ってるじゃないですか。あなたと二人きりの時に娘の話はしないようにしてるでしょ。電話だって下のロビーでうるさい酔っ払いがバカ笑いしてなければここではかけなかった。
ローザさん、こういう唐突な日程での旅行は娘さんのために今後は少し考えませんか？
Even her boyfriend。
互いの日程があった時だけでいいじゃありませんか。
それじゃ全然日程が合わないじゃないですか。私はいつだって一緒にいたいのに。
それは子供の恋愛の仕方です。大人同士の恋愛はもう少しストイックであるべきですよ。ローザさんと一緒にいられる時間が長く取れないことは僕も寂しいです。ですがその限られた時間と機会で僕たちは十分に大人の恋愛を楽しめていると思いますよ。
それは
もっと娘と一緒にいろと。女でなく母でいろということですか？
あなただって望んでいることでしょう。娘さんと一緒にゆっくり過ごしたいとあなただって思っているはずだ。僕は逃げません。僕との時間を優先するために娘さんを犠牲にするのは気の毒だと申し上げたいのです。
奥さんとのより戻したんですか？
Oh, Rosa. Rosa, what are you doing, Rosa? Oh my god.
別れるのが嫌になったんですね。
You're trying to get in with a married guy. What the hell? Oh, this is so bad.
妻の話はしたくない。あなたが娘さんの話をしたくないのと同じです。
子連れの女は面倒だって思ったんでしょう。
そんなこと今までに一度も言ったことはありませんよ。
みんな子連れだと分かると手のひらを返す。
I see.
あの子の養育費は気にしなくていいからと言ってもみんな手のひらを返す。
God, you met Rosa. You only met shitty men, huh? In your life. Still, if all you meet are bad matches, then something's wrong with you as well.
あなたは娘のことを理解してくれてると思ったのに、やっぱり子連れだと嫌なんですね。
そうは言っていません。ローザさんのことを嫌いになってなどいませんよ。私が言いたいのは娘さんをもっと大事にしなさい。
Of care of our daughter.
あなた自身もそれを望んでいるはずだ。そう言ってるだけなんです。
Wait, did she get pregnant from a... Is this her... Is this the father... Is this Maria's father?
嘘つき。私のことが面倒になっただけ。そうでしょ。
Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm confused.
いいえ、わかるの。私にはわかるわ。あの子を理由に何度も捨てられた私だからわかるの。雰囲気でわかるわ。そうよ。あなたもそう。他の男たちと一緒。子連れの女は嫌なのよ。バツイチは嫌なのよ。面倒なのよ。
Oh, okay, so this isn't Maria's father.
知らない男と作った子供の親になんかなりたくないんでしょ。
Maria's father is not the guy.
ええ、そうよね。その気持ちすっごいわかるわ。
You don't want to become the parent of a child made with another man, right?
子連れの男と付き合ったことがあるけど、その気持ちすっごいわかったの。
I once found out of a man with children.
だから娘を理解してくれるあなたとなら一緒になれるって信じたのに。
Oh.
そうよ。あんたなんて邪魔だったのよ。
Oh God.
あんたさえいなければ私はとっくに女としての幸せをつかめたのよ。あんたの存在が私の幸せをいつも邪魔するのよ。
Oh God.
私だってあんたなんか産みたくなかったわよ。いいえ、違うわ。あんたと一緒に幸せな家庭を築けたらと思ったわよ。
Here comes the victim blaming.
でもあんたが生まれる直前にあいつは蒸発したわ。私と温かい家庭を築くと言って私を騙し永遠に私の前から消え去ったわ。
Oh, Rosa feels so real as a person, and it's very scary. Here comes the victim blaming.
残ったのはあんただけ。愛も思い出も何もない。あの男は今どこへ。私との日々を温かな思い出に勝手に変えて新しい恋人に出会ったかもしれない。そして今度こそ幸せな家庭を築けたかもしれない。そして私はあんたがいる。恋も探せない。男は好きに女を渡り歩いて武勇伝気取りなのに、女には私にはあんたがいる。あんたという重しがいるのよ。あんたのせいで私は恋を探せない。愛が得られない。一人 て生きていくしかない。いいえ、それさえも許されてないわ。私には一人で酔いつぶれたい夜さえ許されていない。あんたは誰？何者？私の人生を台無しにして私の新しい人生さえ許してくれないあんたは私の人生の何者なのよ。死ね、消えろ。あんたなんか生まれてきた時から大嫌い。あんたがお腹の中にいた頃から大嫌いだった。それを前向きに受け入れようと頑張って良き母を演じてきたわ。私は頑張った。同世代の女性たちが独身を謳歌し、時に恋に遊び、あるいは愛に結ばれるのを横目に見ながら、私は女と母の二足のわらじを履き続けたわ。その私の苦労を誰がねぎらったの？誰も褒めない、たたえない。自業自得、子持ちは嫌。負け組の遠吠え、うぶな小娘がいい？こっちから願い下げよう。ケツの青い若造どもが。必死だった私はさぞかし簡単に落ちる女に見えたろうさ。必死だったわよ。まだまだ恋をしたい年頃の私が。日々を仕事と育児で忙殺されていき、どれほど必死だったか想像もつかないでしょうよ。あんたの本当の父親ももちろん憎いわよ。でも破局を迎えた責任は私と彼に半々だわ。私にも逃げられるだけのしつこさがあったのかもしれない。でもその後の破局は全部あんたのせい。私はあんたにそれをなじったことはあったないでしょ。男に逃げられて酔いつぶれたいその次の日があんたの授業参加。泣き晴らした目を厚化粧でごまかして、あんたが的外れな発言をしてクラス中から失笑されてた時の私の気持ちなんてあんたどころか世界中の誰にもわからないでしょうよ。あんたが嫌い、大嫌い。そしてこれまでにあんたを本当に愛したことなんてただの一度もない。
This is so bad. Maria's face was stiff. If the words really had been blades, Maria's whole body would probably be stained with red, with fresh blood by now. Even if to gain the power of her witch and resolving herself to take revenge for Saktaro, she couldn't stand these curses coming out of her mother's mouth. You don't get to comment on any of this, Beatrice.
情欲に溺れた女のなんと醜きことか。これがこの女の本性よ。邪悪を極めし千年の魔女のわらわとて見るに耐えぬことこの上なし。
Just because you had a bad time with Kinzo doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean you gotta criticize other people's perceptions of love. Just because you have a warped one with Kinzo.
ああ、マリアよ。今こそ決別の時。そなたの母を名乗った醜き肉の塊を打ち砕け。そなたの無垢なる魂が親子なる鎖にてこれ以上束縛される意味はなし。自らの魂を自らの手で今こそ解放せよ。そなたは自らを守る牙と爪を今こそ手に入れたのだ。
Oh God, no. Oh no.
マリアを苦しめてきた日々を今こそ思い知らせてやる。苦しみの日々を今こそ復讐してやる。
Oh man.
その私を苦しめてきたのはあんたじゃない。私が復讐したいくらいよ。あんたが生まれる前にそうすればよかった。あんたなんか生まなければよかった。消えてしまえ。
And the one who created this situation doesn't know how to handle it, I think. I think Beatrice doesn't know how to handle this anymore. As Rosa howled in a way that can only be described by the word splat, her upper body was crushed. She just put both of them in a corner and now it's over. And in an instant became something similar to a wrung, blood-stained towel. Oh. And now she's laughing. I'm not happy with Beatrice whatsoever. Even though Rosa's waist and below was standing normally, just the upper half of her body had been pinched, and that extreme contrast was bizarre. Then she fell over. The instant she fell, her body was restored. Oh no, this is a repeat of episode 2. Oh my god. Rosa, oh my god. See? There's literally no going back from this. What's left for Maria? What's left for Maria after this? Nothing. There's nothing left for Maria after this. Maria's howl was adorned with the ugly sound of flesh and bone being crushed at the same time. As Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, lay spread-eagled, a neat, perfect circle was cut out of her chest and crushed, as though her chest had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart and her lungs and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly that they were completely indistinguishable. You know, I saw a video of an elephant stomping on a person before. That guy in the video was split in half right at the stomach. Literal split in half. I know what that's like. It might have symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until today. The guy died right away. Don't mess with elephants. Don't mess. Their weight alone is enough to split you in half. Oh my god, I'm sorry. When Beato waved her cane, the body was restored again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently in apparent pain. Let me... And once again, she spat out curses, rejecting Maria. There's literally no going back from this. I'm sorry. Maria screamed. Was she unable to bear her anger and sadness? Or else had she been taken over by an indescribable emotion? It was surely a cry of hopelessness, and yet was a reality that had to be accepted. Maria knew. She knew that she was thought of as a burden. But even though she herself knew that, she didn't believe it. She believed that her mother loved her and had done her best to positively interpret several events that could have been made to doubt this, trusting and clinging to her mother's love. But she had no one except Mama. Even so, she really did like Mama, and wanted to return to the days where she believed that Mama loved her. So I howled. I'll erase all of it. I won't accept it. I'll deny it. I'll deny the mother who says these things, the black witch who makes her say these, the black witch who makes her say them, and the part of myself that can't forgive my mother. But I can't deny it. This is reality, fact, the truth, the answer. Without any mistake, this is absolute reality. Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over in the dark world that reflected her heart. Rang the ugly sound of flesh and bone being torn apart, which would make anyone want to cover their ears. Each time Beatrice revived Rosa, she dragged her back into the world of endless torture, which could not be escaped from, even by death. This was the true, deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. Look right inside your brain, Beatrice. You'll see there's nothing there. And I'll try to recreate that last phrase. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will. Because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, she asked the same question to Maria. You didn't learn anything from Battler in episode 3, didn't you? This is the same kind of situation. This is the same kind of situation where Ava Beatrice was playing with Rosa and Maria and killing them. You didn't learn anything after that, did you?
許せるものか、許せるものか、許さない、許さない。マリアの苦しみの全てを教えてやる。
Oh God, that face.
もっともっと教えてやる。まだまだ足りない、全然足りない。生まれた時から、生まれる前から、蔑まれてきたこの怒りと悲しみがどうしても消せないの。
なんか大嫌い、大嫌い。
Oh God. Rosa, you're still revive over and over again. Return to a meat lump over and over again. In various ways, she crushed, smashed, beat and tore to bits. Flying blood, spatter and flesh turned the once pitch black world into a world of mixed red and black. Maria's anger still hadn't calmed down. It was as though she was spitting out all the suppressed rage from her time of her birth until today. If all that became poison to her heart, then would the repeated murder of her mother purify her soul? Would even this wasteful murder save her soul, at least a little bit? Of course not. This endless torture might become a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she'd finally been able to regain her smile. Oh, her voice. Rosa, oh my God. Half of her skull collapsed. Eyeballs flew out and black cranial fluid gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered. Her whole chest, along with her ribs, turned inside out, exposing her filthy innards. All then writhed like some kind of impure creature. Rosa couldn't laugh anymore, but her face was laughing. It was filled with a twisted laugh and covered with a malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I raised that laughing voice. Next, I'll raise that laughing face. I'll erase it. I'll crush it. I'll tear it to bits. Oh, her voice. This screen right here is why I'm so mad at this situation. There's nothing left for Maria anymore. She's done. She's completely done. Beatrice just wrecked Maria even further. Completely. I'm saying this since episode 2 that Beatrice has been manipulating Maria behind the scenes. And now the conclusion, now the ending here. Beatrice just completely destroyed Maria. There's nothing left for Maria after this. Only if Ange actually tries to save Maria after this. Maybe Saktaro, some sort of reconciliation. And Beatrice is enjoying all of this. Man, if Battler were here, he'd punch her in the face. Battler would...
私は今すっごく楽しいよ。ママと遊んでるんだもん。すっごく楽しい。そしてママを何度も何度も殺してるのに魔法一つで好きなだけ生き返らせられる。
Battler would have punched Beatrice right in the face.
おもちゃは壊したら直せないから大事にした。でも治るおもちゃなら何度でも壊したい。
I'm getting too invested. I'm getting.
でもサクタロは治らないんだね。治せないんだね。作ったママが産んだママが認めないから。私もママに認められてないんだね。だから壊れたマリアももう治らないんだね。
Beatrice thinks this is the right thing to do because this is what she does. She kills people. But she doesn't realize that she just taught a 9-year-old how to kill her own mother. That's the problem here. She taught a 9-year-old how to wreck her own life. And thinks that teaching her more magic and things will be a source of happiness going forward. And then she kills her in the Golden Land as well. or in the game.
楽しいな。楽しいよママ。こんなにも楽しくなったら、なぜ
Episode
か
2,
ママが許せる
Episode
気が
3.
してきたの。ねえベアト、これはとっても不思議な感情。
Maybe even Maria will die in Episode 4 as well.
どうしてマリアはママを許せる気持ちになってきたの？
それは生き死にを自由にできる力を得た魔女のみがたどり着く達観の境地をいつでも殺せる。必要なら蘇らせる。面倒ならまた殺せばいい。それをいつでも指一本鳴らすだけでできることを知ったなら、人の世のざれ言などその全ては聞き流すに等しい虫の声いいかい。そなたに母を許そうという感情が芽生えたのは、そなたが母の愛に目覚めたからではない。そなたが今こそ真の魔女の世界の入り口に立ったからだ。ようこそマリア。深淵なる、そして甘美なる魔女の世界へ。
なったんだ。マリアはもうマリアじゃない。まだ見習いかもしれないけれど、人間の世界を超えた。
If Lambda Delta ends up killing Beatrice, I won't be sad. I'm sorry.
私はもう原初の魔女見習いマリアなんだ。もう私は何も悔しくない、悲しくない。ママ、許してあげるよ。きっと私はママを許せる。もうちょっとしたら許せると思うの。だって魔女だから。
Oh. Oh man. Maria would probably forgive her mother eventually, after brutally murdering her countless times, graciously. Now I'm thinking that if Kinzo kills Maria in the game, I'll be pretty sad.
でけえな。今の落雷は近いんじゃねえか？
みたいだね。いくつになっても落雷にはビクッとさせられるね。
Butler was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would shine, and he seemed to be enjoying it.
お？なんだよ、バトラが騒がしくしてるから、マリアが起きちゃったじゃねえか。
Oh, so this really is after Rosa died.
ごめんなマリア、バトラが騒がしくて。
なんだよ、俺のせいかよ。悪いなマリア、寝てていいぞ。おやすみな。
Maria was a bit hazy with drowsy eyes. She was probably half asleep and couldn't think straight.
おお、もういい。寝ない。
いいから寝てろって。まだ寝ぼけてるぜ。
寝ぼけてない。
なんだよ、もろに寝ぼけてるじゃねえか。寝てろ寝てろい。
寝ぼけてない、寝ぼけてない。
よせってバカバトラ。もう寝起きのこの機嫌を悪くするなんてバカだな。
寝ぼけてない、寝ぼけてないもん。
Oh man.
わかってるよ、マリアちゃん。寝ぼけてなんかないよ。だから落ち着いて。
Ange needs to arrive quickly.
寝ぼけてないもん、寝ぼけてないもん。
In the game board or whatever place, and just maybe it was because of her delicate mental state after waking up, but Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Butler had only been trying to tease her a bit, so he was confused by this extreme overreaction. George held her head, trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't going to be quelled easily. Butler and Jessica were trying to push the blame on each other, saying it was your fault. It's your fault too.
こら、二人とも静かにして。ジェシカちゃん、ポットにまだお湯があったよね。お茶でも入れてあげてくれる？落ち着いた、マリアちゃん。
It looked like her tantrum was dying out bit by bit, but she still glared at Butler, who had made fun of her with sharp eyes.
バトラー君もふざけて言っただけなんだよ。マリアちゃんが寝ぼけてるなんて思ってないよ。
Is Maria going to be the witch going forward in the next games? I hope not.
だから落ち着いてね。
George noticed Maria was staring at Butler with incredible eyes, and despite having just displayed all that emotion, she laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laugh, it seemed more that she was muttering while thinking about, or else counting each he. As though each time she said he, something brutal would happen over and over. George felt something creepy for just an instant, but he couldn't spot the madness that peeked out of the depths of the girl's eyes for just a moment. After a short period of stunned silence on George's part, Maria stopped her bizarre, quiet laugh and pushed George's arm aside, as though telling him to let go.
Oh, そう。マリアちゃんは偉いな。バトラ君、マリアちゃんが許してくれたよ。仲直りして。
ああ、悪いな、からかって。許してくれ。
ほら、マリア、仲直りの印にカフェオレ作ってやったぜ。砂糖いっぱい入ってるから甘いぜ。
いらない。でも許すよ。魔女だからね。
Oh man. Okay. Okay. One more time, Maria laughed in a creepy, quiet voice. But it was only for a very short time, so Battle and Jessica didn't think much of it. Oh man, this new development. They decided to think that. It probably only looked that way when the lightning lit her cheek with a pale white light for just an instant. At that time, they could hear the sound of loud footsteps coming from the hall. It was already about 10:30, late at night. Late at night is usually a time when you aren't supposed to be disturbed. Hearing footsteps like that at this time was far from calming. Then, along with a clearly ominous knock that repeated fiercely, they could hear Goda and Kumasawa's voices. That clearly told them this was an abnormal situation. Why are they coming here, though?
熊沢でございますよ。ご無事でございますか、皆さん。どうしたものやら、どうしたものやら。
Why are they coming here? When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. Wouldn't they just run to the docks or something? Or maybe... I don't know. I guess the guest house is also a possibility. But they would just hide, not go looking for survivors right now. It looked like they dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella.
どうしたんだよ、二人とも。何があったんだ？
No.
それが親方様が、旦那様が、皆様方が。
Dance of the Moon Rabbits. Ooh. Oh. Okay. That was quick. Okay. This is it for today. Wow, these two chapters were very long. I guess I'll split it up. I don't know. And this list. Okay. New characters. Let's go. Gaap. I mean, her design is amazing. I think A rank because of her voice, but I don't know how she will be later on. Ronove, still A rank, I think. He's comfortable there. Virgilia as well, A rank, still comfortable. Maria, the Witch of Origins, will live for the next 1,000 years, possesses the motherly magical power to give birth to one from the Sea of Zero. Maria is tied with Battler again. And Beatrice has upped herself yet again, and she's the top character for now. It's between her and Ange as who is the best character. I'm mad at Beatrice, but that doesn't mean that she's amazing. I'm mad, but still, my feelings don't get in the way of my emotions, of my enjoyment of the character. Kinzo, he's been great. I think he could be in the top of B rank right now. Still, he's a bit... his personality isn't the greatest. That's just what I'm saying. Chiester 00, new character. I mean, she's okay. I still think that 410 is the best one out of the sisters, Chiester sisters. I think 45 is a little bit above 00 because I like 45's like very temperamental attitude when it comes to things. She constantly complains while 410 constantly just teases people. So it's fine there. I don't know. She's just too serious, I guess. I don't know. Need to see more of her too. But she's very cool. So there's the sisters down here. Mammon is still the best one, followed by Belphegor, followed by Lucifer, followed by Leviathan, followed by Satan, followed by Asmodeus, and followed by Beelzebub. I think that's the list of sisters, the 7 sisters. These guys, the goats, are just like D tier. There's nothing to them. They're just plot devices. What else? I guess I could call on Saktaro. I think that he's still in A rank. I think that he will be vital. If Ange ever meets with Maria later on, I think that Ange convincing that Saktaro is still alive might make Maria have a change of heart. I don't know. I think that's what's going to happen. Still, if Lambda Delta ever decides to kill Beatrice or throw her somewhere else in another fragment, then I'm not gonna be sad about it, because I think Beatrice deserves it right now. Still, I think this is it. Shannon and Cannon need more of them. Still, my theory is that Shannon is Beatrice, or maybe, yeah, it was a toss-up between Rosa and Shannon, and still there's some merits about being Rosa, but still, I think it's more Shannon because of the Ronove and Virgilia being there. It was pretty clear when Virgilio was introduced. I think that gave most of the answers. I think this is it for now. Thanks. I split this.